Hi there, everybody. Welcome to our open book. Very good to be with you. You're probably wondering what was happening in Philadelphia 250 years ago today. Hi there, darling. Hi there, S.R. O'Brien, Catherine Capel, John
You
Mahoney,
never said hi to me when I logged in.
Margaret Clubb. Of course, I always said hello to you. Reverend Flowers, Cynthia Stat. I always did, didn't I? Mark
No, I've been
Gladstone.
on every night.
I've always, under your name or
Yes.
Maggie?
Right,
Yeah.
there you go.
Bob Campbell, Ralph Rice. By the way, saw a lot of familiar names when I was on with Christopher Kimball earlier today.
And hello, everyone. I'm back, and I have to tell you a funny story. One of our viewers commented while I was in France that whoever was doing the camera work was doing a fabulous job because it was the best. It was
Ever done.
the best we've ever done, the best positioning of Scott, etc.
Seriously?
Yes,
Yes.
somebody said it was just perfect. And so I called Maggie and I said, Maggie, thank you so much for doing this while I'm gone.
Maggie wasn't here.
That's
No,
what
it
I
was-
said. I was like, it wasn't me.
It turns out
they're
Scott
good.
was doing it all by himself. And
Their little boy, he's
isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, I had it at the long end of a selfie stick, and I moved it.
And I see it now. He's doing it all by himself. We're just here to applaud.
Yeah, well, yeah, and so speaking of applause, before I read David McCullough, do you know what the Cubs score was today? 23-3 over the San Diego Padres. Now, of course, it's just another W, one in the W column, but they've been doing really well. Yeah, Klaatu forever. Thank you, Klaatu. Oh, Reverend Flowers, thank you. So, David McCullough's wonderful book on John Adams. Hi there, guys. Chapter 3, Colossus of Independence. Gesundheit, baby. Another member of the family has joined us. Hi there, Elise Silverman. She and May Simon. Monday, July 1, 1776 began hot and steamy in Philadelphia, and before the morning was ended, a full-scale summer storm would break. Adams, as usual, was out of bed before dawn. He dressed, wrote a long letter to a former delegate, Archibald Bullock, who was the new president of Georgia, and following breakfast walked to the State House knowing what was in store. The morning is assigned to the greatest debate of all, he said in the letter. A declaration these colonies are free and independent states has been reported by a committee some weeks ago for that purpose, and this day or tomorrow is to determine its fate. May heaven prosper the newborn republic. He had wished Bullock to know also that constant vigil was being kept for the arrival of the British in New York. We are in daily expectation of an armament before New York, where, if it comes, this conflict may be bloody, he warned. Words in debate were one thing, the war quite another, but to Adams, independence and the war were never fully disjunctive. He wrote in the letter, the object is great when we have in view, and we must expect a great expense of blood to obtain it. But we should always remember that a free constitution of civil government cannot be purchased at too dear a rate if there is nothing on this side of Jerusalem of equal importance to mankind. Presumably everything that could or need be said on the question of independence had been exhausted in Congress. Presumably the question could be put and decided with little further ado, but it was not to be. Oh, it never is. Committees. John Dickinson had resolved to make one last appeal, and Adams would be obliged to answer. They would rise to make their cases like the great lawyers they were, each summoning all his powers of reason and persuasion. At 10 o'clock, with the doors closed, John Hancock sounded the gavel. That's not a good gavel. Better? All right. Richard Henry Lee's prior motion calling for independence was again read aloud. the Congress resolved itself into a committee of the whole and resumed consideration. Immediately Dickinson, gaunt and deathly pale, stood to be heard. With marked earnestness, he marshaled all past argument and reasoning against premature separation from Britain. He had prepared himself apparently with great labor and ardent zeal. Adams would recall admiringly, he conducted the debate not only with great ingenuity and eloquence, but with equal politeness and candor. Though no one transcribed the speech, Dickinson's extensive notes would survive. He knew how unpopular he had become, Dickinson began. He knew that by standing firm as a matter of principle, he was almost certainly ending his career. My conduct this day, I expect, will give the finishing blow to my once great and now too diminished popularity. But thinking as I do on the subject of debate, silence would be guilt. To proceed now with the Declaration of Independence, he said, would be to brave the storm in a skiff made of paper.
Oh.
It's a great line, isn't it?
Interesting choice.
When he sat down, all was silent except for the rain that had begun spattering against the windows. No one spoke, no one rose to answer him until Adams at last determined to speak. He wished now as never in his life, Adams began, that he had the gifts of the ancient orators of Greece and Rome, for he was certain none of them ever had before him a question of greater importance. Outside, the wind picked up. The storm struck with thunder, lightning, and pelting rain. In his schoolmaster days at Worcester, a town we know, Adams had recorded how such storms unstrung him. Now he spoke unsteadily, making the case for independence as he had so often before. He was logical, positive, sensitive to the historic importance of the moment, and looking into the future, saw a new nation, a new time, all much in the spirit of lines that he had written in a recent letter to a friend. Objects of the most stupendous magnitude, measures in which the lives and liberties of millions, born and unborn, are the most essentially interested, as now before us. We are in the very midst of revolution, the most complex, unexpected, and remarkable of any in the history of the world. No transcription was made. No notes were kept. There would only be Adams' own recollections, plus those of several others who would remember more the force of Adams himself than any particular thing that he said. This was the most powerful and important speech heard in the Congress since it first convened, and the greatest speech of Adams' life. There was no question. To Jefferson, Adams was, quote, not graceful, nor elegant, nor remarkably fluent, but spoke with a power of thought and expression that moved us from our seats. Recalling the moment long afterward, Adams would say he had been carried out of himself, carried out of spirit, as enthusiastic preachers sometimes express themselves. To Richard Stockton, one of the new delegates from New Jersey, Adams was the Atlas of the hour, the man to whom the country is most indebted for the greatest measure of independency. He it was who sustained the debate, and by the force of his reasoning demonstrated not only the justice but the expediency of the measure. Stockton and two other new delegates from New Jersey, Francis Hopkinson and the Reverend John Witherspoon, famous Presbyterian preacher and president of the College of New Jersey at Princeton. Did that become Princeton?
The College of New Jersey? No,
At
it
Princeton.
maintains TCNJ as its.
It became Rutgers or something?
No, it's still a school.
Oh, is it really?
TCNJ.
Forgive me
Yes.
for not knowing. Had come to the chamber an hour or so after Adams had taken the floor and was nearly finished speaking. When they asked that Adams repeat what they had missed, he objected. Yeah, can you imagine saying to John, "I'm sorry, I was matching some socks together. Could you repeat it?" When they asked Adams to repeat what they had missed, he objected. He was not an actor there to entertain an audience, he said good-naturedly. But at the urging of Edward Rutledge, who told Adams that only he had the facts at his command, Adams relinquished and gave the speech a second time, quote, in as concise a manner as I could, till at length the New Jersey gentlemen said they were fully satisfied and ready for the question. By then he had been on his feet for 2 hours. Others spoke, including Witherspoon, the first clergyman to serve in Congress, whose manner of speech made plain his Scottish origins. In all, the debate lasted 9 hours. At one point, according to Adams Hughes of North Carolina, who had long opposed separation from Britain, started suddenly upright and lifting up both his hands to heaven as if he had been in a trance, cried out, "It is done, and I will abide by it." But when later that evening, as a preliminary vote was taken, 4 colonies unexpectedly held back, refusing to proclaim independence. The all-important Pennsylvania, now remember, I think there was 1 vote for every state. The all-important Pennsylvania delegation, despite popular opinion in Pennsylvania, stood with John Dickinson and voted no. The New York delegates abstained, saying they favored the motion but lacked specific instructions. South Carolina, too, surprisingly voted no. While Delaware, with only 2 delegates present, was divided. The missing Delaware delegate was Caesar Rodney, one of the most ardent of the independence faction. Where he was or when he might reappear was unclear, but a rider had been sent racing off to find him. When Edward Rutledge rescued the moment by moving that a final vote be postponed until the next day, implying for the sake of unanimity, South Carolina might change its mind, Adams and the others immediately agreed. For a while, the 9 colonies supporting independence made a clear majority. It was hardly the show of solidarity, though, that such a step ought to have. The atmosphere that night at City Tavern and in the lodging houses of the delegates was extremely tense. The crux of the matter was the Pennsylvania delegation. Well, in the preliminary vote, 3 of the 7 Pennsylvania delegates had gone against John Dickinson and declared in the affirmative, and it was of utmost interest that one of the 3, along with Franklin and John Morton, was James Wilson. Though a friend and ally of Dickinson, had switched sides to vote for independence. Question now was how many of the rest who were in league with Dickinson would on the morrow continue, in Adams' words, to vote point blank against the known and declared sense of their constituents. To compound the tension that night, word reached Philadelphia of the sighting off of New York of 100 British ships, the first arrivals of a fleet that would number over 4. Boom, boom.
Dun, dun, dun.
Da.
We should call NCIS since it's in the Navy.
Oh, right. Yeah, I call
You
it
know a guy.
David McCullough,
I love the drama of this.
John Adams. And tomorrow I think we might read July 2nd. What do you think?
Did anything happen now?
Well, we'll find out, Maggie.
That
won't we?
is wonderful.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Reverend Flowers. We don't hear how contentious this was. I have often said that I could imagine myself, not that I would ever be a delegate, but I could imagine myself, what? And leave the greatest empire of all time for a bunch of bloody slave owners? That's how I imagine I would have sounded.
Yeah, you would have been on one of the ships going back to Britain.
I don't have time for this mud. No crossing of the Delaware. I will say they do a wonderful job at the Constitution Museum in Philadelphia. And they communicate to the best of their ability just quite how feisty it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's right. You're a Philadelphian.
I am a Philadelphian. It's not my fault.
No. Yeah, absolutely. You and Bryce Harper and
I don't want him.
you don't want. Oh, really? All right. I'm just trying to.
Can I just point out another book? I think we should read from this. I am really
Oh yes,
moved and enjoying this book.
I think we
And
might
lots of
read
little-
something.
I also wrote for Abigail Adams' letters.
Oh, yes.
All right. Joseph E. Ellis.
This is a very interesting book. Oh, and since we're talking about books, it's a different thing entirely.
However,
Look at what Scott
I had the same book twice,
well, we
waiting
didn't know
for
it was
you.
the same. Yes, but this is lovely. Where's the other one that I
We can. The other one is underneath the.
This one, it turns out you gave to me a while ago, but I hadn't read it yet. I'm
All right,
passing
I
it on
am
to
eager to read this, although Caroline will get to it first. This is the Petain trial. Marshall Petain.
And it's the same author. This is
The same author.
British
And
historian.
this is the same book, but two different. So we can each read this book together.
Yes, it turns out it's the same book, but
Yeah.
one is just de Gaulle and the other is a certain idea of France. And these are the books that the glorious film. I'm pretty sure it's the same book.
Oh
Yes, I
my.
looked at the table of contents and it's the same. This is a great strategy for selling two books.
we should keep that.
Well, but you have to have the right customer, and I'm the original. Yeah, I'll get it.
I feel like there's a guy I know who had a different idea for the title of a book he was working on, and maybe you do a second edition.
Yes, with running mates.
Yeah. And then
Oh, right. The maps are the same.
I think it's the same book. One of them is bigger print, so that might be better for me or for you.
First line is the same.
Yes, I did
In France today, Charles de Gaulle is everywhere in memories and street names and monuments and bookshops. All right. So I should. Oh my God, this is so heavy. But
and I've started it, and it's wonderful.
yeah. Wow. All right. In any event, nice to be with you. Ulysses, did you see what SR said?
No.
Ulysses S. Cat is selling overseas as Garfield.
That's really funny.
What a great idea.
Objectively.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. 8:00 tonight, I think, is the U.S. Bosnia-Herzegovina game.
So who are you rooting for? That's right. You're still proud to be an American.
We all know
Still
who I'm
proud
rooting
to be
for.
American, but in the long run, it's Allez le bleu.
Exactly.
All right, you
Yeah,
guys.
of course, we're rooting for France.
Ew.
La Marseillaise. All right, sorry, but they're not playing tonight, if I'm not mistaken. What? Oh, thanks for being with us tonight on our open book. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Sorry.
That's all right.